Man, put it this way. Right now, I'm in the same shape as I was a week before we went out to, like, literally not even a week. Literally the day before we fly out to Ohio.
What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So let's start this video with Samson Dauda, who talks about his current prep versus the previous ones. Now this is from his recent Q&A from last night actually. And we are now less than 7 weeks out of this year's Mr Olympia. And if you guys have followed Samson long enough, you would know that previously when he was at 7 weeks out of any show that he entered, he was suffering up to a point that he just did not want to talk. And this was also pretty evident from his stories as well.
You know, just being able to be this way right now in prep. I mean, those people that see me and watch my stories through my prep, you always see how miserable and how tired and how exhausted I feel. And now I just feel so like down and everything else.
So whatever the team around Samson have been doing this time, it has been working wonderfully in his favor. And one of the biggest changes during this prep, compared to the previous ones, is that he's getting his blood work done almost every few weeks, and not using the stuff that made him irritable previously. I'm assuming he might be talking about trend here.
I work with somebody that can tell me, okay, right, why do you do this? Why is this necessary? Okay, what's the difference that make to your physique? Can you see it? Can you chew it? Okay, you don't, then take it out. Throw a lot of those things away for the sake of the things that you normally just put in there for the sake because that's what you think you're supposed to do. And having a more scientific approach is going, okay, let's analyze your look, let's analyze what's happening, let's analyze how you feel and everything else, and make the best approach going forward based off that.
And you have got to agree with Samson on this one, guys. We have never seen ripped glutes on Samson, not even at this year's Arnold UK, which was arguably his best conditioning ever. And just looking at his recent update, the one with the back double biceps and the back lat spread, his conditioning looks so phenomenal for 7 weeks out, actually more than 7 weeks out.
Literally the day before we fly out to Ohio, I'm in the same shape now. And we still got 7 weeks to go. And I feel this good. So yeah, that's how much it's changed, you know. And with 7 weeks to go, and I'm not even the point where I'm suffering enough to be here just like, oh, I'm f***able.
Now we do not know how the judges will perceive the improved package that Samson is going to be bringing to this year's Mr Olympia stage. Is that going to be good enough to move up, to fight for Mr Olympia title, or maybe to win the whole damn thing? Well, at this point nobody knows, because we have never seen Samson truly shredded and peeled. What I mean by that is we have never seen him in a condition that the likes of Derek, Hadi and Nick bring. But he got such positive feedback after this year's Arnold UK, and all the judges had to say was to continue moving in that direction, and he will eventually be Mr Olympia. Nick Walker top 5 debate has been the most disgusting in the bodybuilding in the last 2 weeks or so, since we had different people on different podcasts speaking about their own predictions. And I'm guessing this is gonna continue to be a trending topic until this year's Mr Olympia, where Nick Walker aims to shock the entire bodybuilding world and place better than 222, meaning top 3 or maybe even higher. Now for the record, most of the predictions that we have seen so far, all of them have Nick Walker in the top 5. I guess Nilo Sorsev is the only one who is one of the biggest names in the bodybuilding world, who is a legend himself and a bodybuilding expert, who had his guy Behrouz Tabani beating Nick at his Olympia debut. So this question regarding Nick Walker eventually got to Samson Dauda as well, and the man responded in a very respectful manner. And I'm gonna say absolutely no surprise there, that some fans out there, they are still not happy with his response.
Thoughts about Nick Walker out of top 5? Who said Nick Walker's out of top 5? You know what? You guys need to stop trying to stir up beef between athletes. It's very stupid and very shallow and low. Nick Walker is one of the best bodybuilders on the planet right now. He's absolutely freaking unreal. And you had the nerve to actually try to tell him, predict where he's going to be based off what? Stop this staring. I don't fall for it. I find it very stupid, so no.
Now, I'm sure if you would have said that Nick's chances of cracking top 5 at this year's Mr Olympia, they are kinda little because of Samson himself and an improved version of Andrew Jacked, then I'm guessing even more people would have been offended. Now, this is called being respectful towards your opponent, because this battle between Nick Walker and Samson Dauda, that is one of the most anticipated one at this year's Mr Olympia, because the fans have been waiting for this since Arnold 2023, because that was the last time these guys did compete against each other, and Samson Dauda was actually able to beat Nick Walker very fair and square. So the fans have been waiting for this rematch for quite some time now. So one thing is pretty clear from this response of Nick Walker at 7 weeks out of this year's Mr Olympia. He is going Dorian Yates style for the rest of the prep, meaning we will see little to nothing in terms of his physique updates. So him being counted out like never before, that is becoming like a source of energy and motivation for him. I mean, the last time Nick Walker was this counted out, that was before he made his Olympia debut, or before he did his first ever Arnold Classic, which he eventually won. So Nick is going all out for this year's Mr Olympia. So his mindset is the same as it was last year. He's coming to win the show, and the rest of it depends on the judges. It is in the judges' hands, and also how some of the other competitors show up, because Nick is gonna make sure that he shows up at his all-time best. So him and his team, of course Matt Jensen, they're definitely going for his Arnold 2021 look, with more size, because that was probably the best look from Nick Walker since he became pro. At least that is my opinion, but do let me know what you guys think. Next up is the physique update of Hadi. So the caption confirms that this is taken at 7 weeks out of the show, but I'm assuming this is a little more than 7 weeks out. Now Hadi puts the most intense captions under his posts, and if he is able to do what the caption says here, meaning he's able to beat his Arnold Classic Ohio look, I'm not really sure if there is anyone out there who can beat him this year. So anybody else noticed that Hadi has been posting more physique updates than ever before, than he ever did during any of his preps, especially leading into any Miss Olympia before. And he kinda replies to the reigning Miss Olympia Derek Lansford by posting the same shots. So this time Hadi followed up with those back poses, which were the biggest strengths of Derek Lansford, and that too by a long shot last year. Especially that back double biceps, that is just lights out. So it will be interesting to see how they match up in that rear lat spread, because nobody out there has a wider back lat spread than Hadi. So if this is what Hadi looks like at 60%, just imagine what he would look like with another 7 weeks of dieting and training under his belt. So will Hadi try to come in a little bigger than the Arnold? Because judging by the way he won this year's Arnold, especially the one in Columbus, I don't think he needs to get bigger, because on paper, Samson was like 40 pounds heavier than him, but it did not seem that way on the stage. So do let me know what you guys think. Is Hadi winning back his Olympia title? So that is a champion set by your reigning Miss Olympia, Derek Lansford. It's kinda funny that people are trying to correct the exercise form of a person who arguably has one of the best backs, and not just in this era, one of the greatest backs of all time. So it seems like Derek is hungrier than ever, and let the record show that nobody in this year's Miss Olympia lineup had more time than Derek to get bigger, to grow, for improvements, because he has been focused on just one show throughout this year, and that is the Olympia, although he had a lot of pressure on him to do this year's Arnold. But the thing is, looking at how much his biggest rival, Hadi, has evolved since the Olympia 2023, so Derek skipping this year's Arnold and just focusing on his physique, getting more density, getting more thicker, and getting more maturity, that was the right move. So Derek at this point is one of the most lean guy out there. Just look at those fibers in his delts, the separation and details in his arms, and also his shoulders. None of us would be even a little surprised if Derek shows up in the greatest condition of his life, and he actually retains the title as well, because he knows he isn't the underdog anymore, and everyone is chasing him. Now we are not in that era, where guys need to knock out the champion. We saw that happen last year as well, because it was extremely close between him and Hadi. And I believe this time it is gonna be even more closer than last year. The biggest difference with Derek is that he is the only guy among those top 6 spots whose final look is yet to be seen, because all the other guys, they did at least one show this year. We saw Hadi and Samson at the Arnold, Nick Walker at the New York Pro, and Andrew at Texas Pro, and we are gonna see Hunter in less than 2 weeks time in Italy. And these are the guys who are potentially gonna be in the first call out. So hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video, and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.